So we saw this article the other day on My Golf Spy, and like how wedges lose the spin, do drivers lose their pop and their distance over time? And it like sparks this huge debate, so I think we need to get into it.
Because logically you'd think, well, if wedges don't keep their spin and they lose their spin, you know, like the grooves wear away, you'd think, well, surely the same would be for driver?
How long would it even take for grooves to wear down?
I mean, pros, maybe a couple of months. Normal golfers, couple of years. In fact, that's a good question. How often do people change their wedges? Because pros, they're doing it a lot. And by the way, I'm a bowling driver here to get into this point, because what a view.
What a view.
Right, I'll hit it. And then, because actually, what might surprise everybody is that your driver could get faster over time. But yet we buy a new one every year. Yeah. I'll drop that bombshell on you. Bet you didn't think I was going to say that.
Absolutely not. Ooh.
Get me that bunker. Soft, sit, do something. Yeah, we're okay. By that bunker.
I was going to say, where did that land? I didn't even see it.
That left bunker. Because it's so far, that's why. So yeah, interestingly, so go back to the grooves. The more you use your wedges, the more your grooves get worn away. And that can seriously affect performance. I'm like talking like you won't be able to stop many balls at all. Adding to the fact that people...
Is that much?
Yeah, like a lot. Like, I'm not saying it's realistic for everybody to change their wedges every year, but if you're playing once, twice a week, I reckon every 2 years you should be looking at changing your wedges.
Do people realise that?
Maybe, but they don't want to do anything about it. But back to driver there, because I just said to you that your driver could be getting quicker every year. But
Why buy a new one then?
Well, that's sort of the point I want to get to here, because everybody seems to every year want to buy a new driver. So essentially, when a driver is made, the USGA have something called a CT test, and essentially that measures how quick a ball can come off the face.
Yeah, because it was Scotty and Rory that theirs weren't conforming, were they?
Great point. And everybody's like,
was
oh,
that
they're using illegal drivers.
Was that both on the QI10, or were they on different clubs?
Good point. I'm not actually sure on what it is. I think it was the QI10. I'm pretty sure it was the QI10. And obviously for TaylorMade, that makes them look like they've done a bad job. Whereas in reality, over time, the faces actually get more flexible. Think how many balls those guys are hitting. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? They're hitting so many golf balls. And essentially, think of it like a trampoline.
I was even going to use the example of a tennis racket or something like.
Oh, well, do you know what? Fair play. That's way better than a trampoline. That's way better than a trampoline.
I don't really know why you thought of a trampoline.
I don't really know what I thought, because they call it like the trampoline effect.
Oh.
If anybody's of a certain age, 94 yards, they'll remember they got rid of what they call trampoline effect drivers.
What was that weird driver that we...
TaylorMade. Trampoline effect.
Yeah,
My dad had it.
Yeah. I can't remember the model of it though.
I'll put it on here now, like we'll put it in.
So what club have you got here?
I've got 50. So yeah, what happens is, because of overhit and hit and hit, imagine this is the face. It's really, that gate on the face, the middle of the face is really firm at the start. Over time, this starts to become a bit softer. So when Scotty's and Rory's driver got tested, it was then non-conforming. All right, here we go, Em. 95. Oh, it's short. Very short. This grass is so claggy and clingy. Now I've left myself a minging chip. So different.
So that was the shot, not the club. What we...
No comment.
What are we blaming?
No comment. I've seen a lot of comments in here saying people like your sense of humour, but that is at the expense of me, massively.
At least none of them have ended up in a full-on domestic. There's still time.
Not on camera. So that does raise the debate. Should you change your driver every year? Now, this is not taking into account, people might get in the comments and say, well, your shaft might change, you might get slower, so you might need a different shaft. Yes, we're just saying the face. Everybody, I would think, would say, oh yeah, my driver's just sort of lost its pop. Whereas in reality, that pop gets way more. And this is proven. This is absolutely proven. So on that knowledge, do you reckon people would not change their driver anywhere near as much, Em?
Potentially, but then I do think people get nice. Go.
This is great. Go,
Bloody
this is
hell,
great.
You're a bloody blinder.
Played a blinder here, love.
I do think people get drawn into the marketing though.
Yeah, massively. Like, seriously. Like, every year this face is faster, whereas in reality, a softer face. I think you could also argue, remember when the first stealth driver came out, that carbon face?
Yeah.
When I used to press on it, like, I was like, oh my God, this feels like seriously soft.
It's a bit spongy.
Yeah, and now you're thinking, well, okay, I could understand why that would be the case. Okay, I did need to go, you were right. This is what happens when we're talking. I don't concentrate anywhere near as much. Whoa. Quick.
And that's not a gimme either.
All right. All right.
Some people are, oh, that's a gimme that.
What is a gimme? Put a length. Yeah, it's outside. Fair.
I think that's a load of rubbish, that. Go on. God, I thought you were going to miss that then.
Always a gimme for me then.
Yeah, but what if you're like, so that guy who filmed the video was 6'8". So his putter length, his putter was it 40 inches? You're telling me that's a gimme?
45, isn't it? Like
That's not a gimme.
On the putter note. No lab. There is a huge plot twist with this. Before you start going bragging to your mates that your old driver is unbelievable and it's getting faster, here is the plot twist. Now, speed is just one of the ingredients and the recipe to a great drive, right? Club head speed and ball speed. There is something called face, bulge and roll. And here's where it gets really, really interesting. Whilst many golf companies have shifted more to resilient materials in the last years, Titleist GT being one of them, faces can still flatten repeatedly. So if we look at a driver face, there is face bulge and roll. So it's slightly like out. If you look at it side on, and if you look from the top, it slightly goes out. So if the drivers flatten, unfortunately, like your off-center hits won't correct themselves as much. So essentially, your driver could be getting a lot less forgiving. You could then hit lower launch, and yeah, accuracy could start to drop.
So essentially what you're saying is your driver could potentially go longer,
Yeah.
but you could hit less fairways, end up more in the shit, essentially.
Boom.
So is it really worth it?
Well, that's maybe why people feel like they're losing accuracy, losing confidence, you're not going to swing as quick, and all these other things. If you're not launching it right, having the right ball speed, but lower launch, I did a video on this the week when I changed my driver loft. It makes a huge difference. So I was saying that before, slightly like this and slightly like this. So over repeat times, even though it gets springier, you lose that face bulge and roll. Hey, what a par 5 up the hill here.
Where are we aiming then?
Well, you tell me, Em. You know what? Come on, let's test your
Here we
golfing
go.
knowledge here.
Golfing knowledge, zero. I'd say you always like to talk about lines, so I would aim bang in the middle of my aiming line would be.
Don't you dare say middle of fairway.
No, I wasn't gonna. No, I was gonna say in the middle of like the 2 bunkers near the.
That's just terrible.
You asked me, so you have to do it.
I say the crane where it's sort of dropping
So
down.
that's exactly where
No,
I'm
that's
saying.
left of middle of the fairway. That's left half. Short on the hole. It's all right. I won the banter battle that one.
They did we're having a battle.
Ha! That's exactly why. Here we go.
4. Uh-oh.
Just there then, middle of the fairway, yeah.
That's not middle.
That's right half. Quite away from where I was aiming. But anyway, so interesting topic today. We found it online. We thought you guys would love to know about this. Here is what we found, and let us know your opinion. Thanks for watching.